This full moon is pretty ridiculous. It's not that it's cute or not cute, it's a mixed bag, but it's a lot of drama and a lot of nothing that might feel like something at the time, but is truly nothing. Me trying to make the most of the sliver of sunset lighting remaining as I got my hair done today, and it looks really cute here in Dubai. I got it at a new salon. The light's fading, so I can't really capture it, but it looks really good. Anyway, if you're excited to dive into what we can expect collectively from this full moon in Pisces, make sure that you like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so that you are always up to date with what the stars have in store for you. If you're new here, hello, I am Maren. I'm an astrologer, among other things, but mostly I'm an astrologer who just got her hair done. Sorry, I can't stop looking at it! Firstly, we're going to get into the overall vibe of this full moon. Then we're going to look at the relevant charts. I'm sticking to US politicians and crypto for this one because Lord knows where the world is heading in the next few months. I'm filming this ahead of time, so if I need to add some in, I will. If not, we're going to stick to the basics. And if you have not already seen your September forecast for your rising sign to see how the entire month is going to be playing out for you, do check those out down below. This full moon is on September 10th at 1:59 p.m. Dubai time. So if you are in the US, you'll need to make this about 8 to 11 hours earlier, which might make it midnight or early hours of the morning. However, it is on September 10th for basically everyone. The sun will be in the second decan of Virgo, and the moon will be in the second decan of Pisces. If you're new here, decans are third parts. They are divisions of the signs into 3 equal parts, and I use them only for new and full moon videos to give a little bit more texture to what's happening here. So on its own, a full moon in Pisces is a release. Full moons are always releases. Pisces is a mutable water sign. Water signs are associated with emotion, and mutability is about adaptability and about change. So it's the release of a changing or adapting emotional energy in our lives, and you can check the Pisces house in your own chart to see where this is showing up for you. However, to make it a little more specific, the moon will be in the second decan of Pisces. This is associated with the 9 of Cups tarot card, or Jupiter as well has rulership here. And this card represents material happiness. It represents how your internal alignment manifests externally, where it's not just as if you work hard, got the thing, and are now outwardly okay but internally unfulfilled. It's also not the same as being internally fulfilled but being, impoverished or not having things externally. It's actually showing a really welcome balance of your internal work paying off and being satisfied both internally and externally with where your world is right now. However, if it's inverted, it's about this imbalance, this disequilibrium between internal and external, where you are miserable despite everything being fine around you, where you are like, I am so lonely, but I'm at the nicest club kind of thing. Many an experience, because I feel like I've lived a lot of life and been a lot of places. And I mean, right now I'm viewing the sunset over Dubai in like beautiful downtown. You can't really see it from where I'm sitting, but it's over there. I'm looking at Business Bay right now, so not really downtown, but it's downtown's right there technically. And I'm kind of sad. Things are going on in my life that just feel unfulfilled. I feel uninspired, and I'm down. And I mean, by the time this video comes out, I'll be at a different stage of being down. It won't really be the same issues, I'm sure, by the time this comes out in August. It's July 15th, 14th right now. But that's an example of the second decan, but the card reversed is instead of this equilibrium, there's disequilibrium and unhappiness. And with the sun, then opposite that, it's in the second decan of Virgo. And this is associated with the 9 of Pentacles card, or the Lord of Gain, where small incremental steps have achieved something really beautiful and really valuable. This decan is ruled by Venus. All of Virgo is ruled by Mercury, but the decan is ruled by Venus. And yeah, it's about gaining through efficiency and making something healthier little by little over time, rather than an overnight success. So this is not about dramatic change. This is about little by little. But with the sun here, which is showing the authority or the power structure or what we're guided by, and the moon being the topic at hand, it can show that we're growing something something little by little. The focus right now is that we're unhappy with what we're doing internally and how that's showing up externally. It's kind of like doing a ton of work and feeling like none of it has paid off yet. But the good side of this is that we're releasing the attachment to needing it to feel a certain way. We're like, look, we've gotten here and it doesn't feel like much of anything right now. Maybe I need to keep going, and maybe I need to focus less on the end result and more on the process and more about the small incremental gains. And honestly, I'm leaning more towards the challenging significations here, because with this being square to Mars pretty closely, it's within 6 degrees. It could be worse, it could be closer, but a full moon with the sun and the moon in a square to Mars is not ideal. But a full moon with the sun and the moon square to Mars within 6 degrees, that's still a pretty tight square. Like, no fucking astrologer wants to see that, like verbatim. Like, sure, there's gonna be some out there that are like, the positive constructive, like, kiss my fucking ass. I don't want to see a full moon square Mars within that proximity. So I am thinking more about the misery significations, or being like, I don't know what to do with this curtain. I worked so hard, I feel like I should get something, because Pisces can be a bit martyrdom-ish, or it can be a bit of a martyr, and so that can feel kind of like I'm owed this. I've done all this work and I feel like I am owed something, which is not the end of the world. It can be a very nice release of like, stop your pity party, kind of. That's the theme here, is stop your pity party. This is a very like Melanie Martinez pity party like moon. It's a Pisces full moon, square to Mars and Gemini, very pity party. I like that song, by the way. Big Melanie Martinez fan, as you can probably just fucking assume by who I am. And it's a signal that I think something is coming to light that's icky within, that you're like, ooh, this doesn't feel right. Like, at one point I felt like I was working towards something and this was a good motivation, but now I feel like I've lost sight of that goal, and I'm doing the incremental things. I'm still on the path, but it feels really icky, and cognitive dissonance comes up. And Mercury in Libra is also opposite Jupiter in Aries, and this is actually pretty nice. Mercury and Jupiter are retrograde though, so it looks like we're making this big announcement or big statement about going back to something that we're like, the world has to know this, and the world is like, cricket. So this has big backtracking energy, given that like Mercury opposite Jupiter, both retrograde, big announcement, Pisces, like feelings, like this, the meme I'm thinking of is embrace tradition, reject modernity, because it's like, I'm going back to how things were. Things were so much better. And big, like, I'm getting YouTuber vibes from this, and the way that YouTubers like make these announcement videos or like life update videos, myself included, and people are like, the fuck do we care? Like, great, you're supplementing with like, I don't know, like DHA or something. You know what I mean? Like, no one cares. Oh, how did I come up with that? But it feels like it does. It feels like to that person, when I'm making this video, I'm like, I feel it. And then, months later, I'm like, shit, should have just not uploaded that. So if you already know what house Pisces is for you and where this is showing up in your own life, do make sure that you comment down below. I'm interested to hear from you all. So moving on to the charts here, is that in the United States' chart, Mars is right on the US descendant. And the descendant in a country's chart, I have found, generally refers to civil infighting. That the first house is the country itself, and the 7th house is often the people of the country. And when it's activated by difficult planets such as Mars, it can be some civil infighting. And given that Mars and Uranus are right there in the US chart itself, this does look pretty gnarly for civil fighting. And given the sun is near Neptune in the 10th, this could be like, could deal with Biden, because the sun and the 10th house energy are leadership indicators, both of them. It looks like fighting. Mercury near the midheaven looks like news that pisses people off, and it's likely from Biden, so I'm looking for an announcement that's just from Biden. Looks like it pisses people off. Since Biden is also a Sagittarius rising, it's in the same houses for him, his 10th house, 4th house axis, and for him it's right on his midheaven and IC. And with the midheaven being public image and IC being home and family, it definitely looks like something revealed, because full moons are times of being revealed, impacts him and how he's received. And Mars is right on his Saturn on the descendant, so it's very implicated here, and it looks like he's making an announcement, and it's very poorly and polarizingly received. For Bitcoin, this full moon is right on Bitcoin's Uranus and Pisces. So this is a huge signal of volatility, given that Uranus is a planet that represents volatility and chaos, and full moons are usually dumps, so I'm expecting pretty heavy downside volatility for this. Jupiter is squaring Bitcoin's Mars and about to cross Bitcoin's moon in the days following, technically that's after this, so I do think it makes further more sense for this to be a full moon dump and then we pump afterwards. For ETH, it's not quite as active, but if I do have a correct time on the chart that I use, it's on its MCIC, which is very active. So either way, I'm going by the context of Bitcoin, which is very implicated given it's on Bitcoin's Uranus, so I'm expecting pretty substantial downside volatility. So if you enjoy this and you want to check out any of the courses that I offer, feel free to check them out down below, as well as if I have any retreat announcements. I throw retreats every few months, so depending on when this video comes out, if I have a new one announced or not, do always check for those. Otherwise, make sure that you like, subscribe, look at the other videos for this month. I make them often. I make too many. I should probably, quality over quantity. I'm learning. But leave me your comments down below. Excited to hear from you all, and we'll see you in the next one.